Wait, what? Thank God we were the only people in the store, because old boy was accusing me of using drugs way too loudly. I whipped around and gave him my full attention. He was close. Too close. Like, you should be professionally cleaning my teeth and assuring me I don't have any cavities close. In all my fantasies about this moment, there had never been a Trevor. At least, that's what I think old boy's name was. It was the one stitched on his uniform, next to a splotch of grease that oddly resembled a bowl of apples. Don't ask. I figured him for a mechanic. Or maybe just a really messy eater. If I were casting a movie, he'd get a call back for the jock love interest's bonehead best friend. He was as stout as a keg of Guinness and just as hard for me to swallow. I wasn't a beer girl. At all. "Do I look like a crackhead to you?" I asked. "In these shoes?" They were Giuseppe Zanotti. Trevor looked me up and down. "Nah, crackheads are normally skinny." "Hey," I said, but my protest was half-hearted. I'd been mistaken for a lot of things in life. Someone who worked at Target when I made the mistake of shopping there in a red shirt. Someone who cared about Facebook statuses, about what people had for lunch. Someone who had the slightest clue how to adult. But I'd never once been mistaken for someone who did crack, even when I was skinny. Still, I attempted a death glare anyway as Trevor turned back to the cashier. "She has a point, though, my dude. You're clearly the one on something up in here. So how about you give her the money so she can give you the drugs?" I threw him another look. He smiled. "You gotta pay for those fancy shoes somehow, right?" "This has nothing to do with drugs." I was practically screeching. I hated myself for it. Trevor looked at me. I, in turn, looked at the cashier. They were both extremely lucky I practiced self-censorship when it came to curse words, at least the really, really bad ones. "Reward money," I said. "I'm here for the freaking reward money from the LAPD." The cashier came to life, like someone must have changed his batteries. "Oh, right. That envelope of cash with the 4 numbers scribbled on it. My boss has the worst handwriting. Be right back." And with that, he disappeared into the bag. Thank goodness. The last time I'd tried to collect a reward, I'd messed up big time by not calling the tip line as instructed. I was determined to get my money this time. "Why not start off with that and save us all a bunch of heartache?" Poor Trevor sounded exasperated. I shrugged defensively, mainly because I was wondering the same thing myself. It's my first time actually picking up a reward, okay? Sue me for not knowing the instructions are actually more like suggestions. Besides, it's supposed to be anonymous. "You that chick on TV shucking and jiving for fried chicken. That ain't anonymous, sweetheart." Yet another one of Trevor's many valid points. Perhaps, but I'm retired. Not exactly my choice, since Chubby's Chicken canceled my spokesperson gig almost 2 years ago to go in a different direction. At the time, I still had a year left on my contract, but they cited a small clause that I couldn't be seen eating anything other than their 2-piece combo deals. A photographer caught me during brunch, and Us Weekly ran the pic in their "Stars Are Just Like Us" section. I would have mentioned all of this to Trevor, but I doubted he cared that my agent really should have removed the clause from the contract. "So you went from shucking and jiving to snitching for money?" Trevor asked. Not only was he offensive, but he was getting on my already frayed nerves. I'm not a snitch, and I'm not an actress. I'm a private investigator. An investigator's apprentice, but still.